Well, it's hard to believe the transfer window is going to close at 7 o'clock tonight. Jim White's not coming in at 6 in a yellow tie.
I know, a shame.
The thing is, it opens again next Monday, so it is quite short-lived. It's a bit like the jump racing season. They have like a day off. The season ends and there's barely time
Anyway,
to
see you next season, yes.
That's it. All the best, George. See you next season. See you tomorrow, yeah. Anyway, the window is going to close, so it really impacts on the sides playing in the Club World Cup. Alex Crook has popped in, our football expert, chief football correspondent. So should we start with Chelsea and City and what they might get done before 7 o'clock tonight, Alex?
Yeah, it doesn't look like Chelsea are going to get a lot done before 7 o'clock tonight. They've obviously been toing and froing when it comes to Maignan, the goalkeeper at Milan, French international, French number one, no less. But at the moment, they're not willing to pay what Milan want. They were willing to pay up to 15 million. I think Milan wanted 25. And Chelsea have made it clear this deal gets done today or not at all. They're not going to revisit it, according to our sources, later in the window. I think that's probably because they weren't actively looking for a goalkeeper. I mean, they've got a five-a-side team of goalkeepers in with Kepa Arrizabalaga on his way to Arsenal. They saw a potential gap in the market here. The opportunity may be to get a player for a pretty discounted fee, but Milan are standing by it. And actually, I've just recorded Inside Devils with the guys, the Manchester United YouTube show. There were a couple of suggestions there that maybe Manchester United at 25 million should be looking at Maignan as an upgrade on Andre Onana.
Yeah, I'm surprised at Chelsea. I mean, look, they had a price in mind. Maybe they would have split the difference and got him for 20, but he's a great goalkeeper and he's still got a lot of football in him. You know, keepers go on longer. And they've got 5 keepers, but I mean, if you only got to sit here with Andy, he doesn't think any of them are quite up to it. No,
and I agree. I don't think Robert Sanchez is a Champions League quality goalkeeper. I think we've seen enough to suggest that Philippe Jorgensen isn't either. I know they've got players coming back on loan. Petkovic, for example.
I think he's the one that, from what Eddie says, that he rates the most, but we'll see.
I think he wants to be a number one, and if he doesn't get those assurances at Chelsea, maybe there could be an opportunity for another Premier League club to come in for him.
City have been pretty busy, and they could get 1 or 2 over the line before 7, you expect?
Yeah, there could be as many as 3 more announcements today. I mean, the cat is out of the bag, isn't it, as far as Tijani Reinders is concerned, because he was quoted in Italy saying, well, I've done the medical, I'm off the Club World Cup, even though City haven't formally announced that yet. We expect it to happen. Ryan Cherky a fee agreed with Lyon for 34 million. Again, they're trying to get that done before 7 o'clock tonight so that he can go to the Club World Cup. I think that could be a really good piece of business. I was impressed with him in the Europa League quarter-final against Manchester United, particularly that crazy second leg at Old Trafford. He is a bit of a maverick, which doesn't always fit with Pep Guardiola, but it looks a bargain fee. And the other signing they're likely to make is Marcus Bettinelli, third choice goalkeeper, swapping Chelsea for Manchester City because Scott Carson, after all the trophies he's won sitting on the bench, has left the club.
Yeah, Aït-Nouri's already in, isn't he? So we always knew this would be the case. We saw the start of the rebuild in January with Marmoush, etc. But we always knew there was going to be a lot of churn at City in this window.
And there may well still be more between now and September the 1st when the window actually closes permanently. Aït-Nouri, the fee they've got there, I wonder if Wolves fans might be a bit disappointed by that. £33 million plus a few add-ons.
Was that a buyout clause or something?
No, and he's 23.
Yeah.
That seems cheap.
It certainly does seem cheap.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, there's a change of sporting director at Wolves. I'm not sure that's a great start for the new guy. I can't believe you wouldn't. You can tell I don't fancy him. I mean, blimey, he's a really good player. It does seem a bit of a steal in this current market. Yeah, and I think City have been tracking him for a year. They actually made some inquiries to try and sign him last summer. He's changed agents since then. He's no longer with George Mendes, so I wonder if that played a part in
how long did he have left on his contract at Wolves?
I think at least a couple of years.
Suddenly a few things started doing the rounds about Antoine Semenyo of Bournemouth to Spurs last night. Is there anything in it?
There have been conversations, as I understand it, between Tottenham and the Semenyo camp, but it would take a record fee more than Tottenham paid for Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth last summer. I'm just not sure Daniel Levy is going to sanction that deal. I know there's also been talks with Manchester United, but it looks like Brian Mbeumo is ahead of Semenyo there. And they're in quite a strong position to demand top dollar Bournemouth, because obviously Dean Howson has gone to Real Madrid for a 50 million buyout clause. Milos Kerkez, I understand, is getting closer to Liverpool. That'll be a deal in the region of £40 million. There's big interest from PSG in Elias Zabani as well. So if they were to sell all those 3 players, the likes of Semenyo, Tavernier, who's been linked with a couple of clubs, both in the Premier League and in Turkey, I think Bournemouth will be really keen to hang on to them because Andoni Iraola was very much on Tottenham's radar at one stage earlier this year, and he's decided to stay at Bournemouth, and I think he's been assured that the whole team isn't going to be sold from underneath him.
If you're a Bournemouth fan, it must be so. Well, I know it's how they run the club and how they keep it going with such low crowds, but you must just go. Well, you sort of don't want anyone to be too good.
No, well, that's right.
Don't be too good because we'll lose you.
I guess it's about how you replace them, and they've been pretty good at doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm old enough to remember.
I suppose players see it as a shop window. They go, well, I can.
That's
the
point I was about to make. I mean, I remember when they were playing Dagenham and Redbridge in League Two, and Dagenham celebrated a 0-0 draw down at the Vitality like they won the FA Cup. Now they're selling players to Real Madrid, Liverpool, and potentially Paris Saint-Germain. So you're right. If you're a young up-and-coming player in Europe, in particular, you think, well, this is a stepping stone to bigger and better things.
The three men in demand in this window, Osimhen. There was a story today saying he's desperate to play for Manchester United.
Isn't everyone?
Isn't
everyone?
Yeah, everybody seems very. They're not seeing where they finished.
Pay 2 or 3 times about as much as anyone else.
Well, to be fair, we were talking about this with Flex last week. Whatever you think of Manchester United and the way things are at the moment, it is a bit of a bin fire at the moment. Their reputation, their name is huge, and there is an attraction. You must want to be part of a setup that turns things around and gets them back up the table.
And actually, I played there yesterday in a media against staff game at Old Trafford, and I can understand the argument for a new stadium. Yes, it's in a little bit of disrepair, but when you walk through that tunnel, you walk down the touchline, you look around, that's still going to attract players.
I'm amazed it took you that long. That long to drop that in the conversation that I played at Old Trafford.
With the 3 Sikh lads by the dugout, they're even there when you play there. Great.
Actually, there were a few day trippers sort of having the tour, and it was a media against staff game. It was okay. It wasn't brilliant quality, and I wonder if the people giving the tour were saying, well, this is a trial game for potential new signing.
Did you score, Crookie?
I didn't. I played at the back. I did my job for the team.
That's good stuff. Chelsea are interested.
Osimhen, Chesko and Gyökeres. They're the three. Everybody sound like a firm of solicitors now. We say it so often, don't we?
But that's right. And you look around, and I remember having a conversation with somebody senior at one of those top 6 clubs right at the end of last season, and he said to me, we're all basically shopping from the same shopping list when it comes to number 9s, because there aren't that many out there. And all of them come with risk attack. Benjamin Šeško, who looks like the main target for Arsenal, didn't score that many goals for RB Leipzig this season. Victor Gyökeres, who, as you mentioned there, Manchester United are keen to sign. He was let go by Brighton. They don't get much wrong, Brighton, with Tony Bloom and his data. So when you look at Darwin Núñez, scored loads of goals in Portugal, surplus to requirements now at Liverpool. So there are risks. And even Victor Osimhen, who probably is the most proven of the trio, hasn't played in the Premier League. It's a different beast, isn't it?
There was talk about Mitrovic last week. Is that gone quiet?
I was never quite convinced by that, to be honest.
It did seem weird, didn't it? There's a few stories out of Portugal that Gyökeres apparently Sporting because everybody's after the same 3 players, have seen the pound signs and have sort of saying, well, we did say 67 million, but we could probably get a bit more now. So,
well, I'm sure they'd love to get a bidding war going, wouldn't they? And actually, Simon Jordan made a really good point when I was on this morning when they were trying to sign Dean Ashton. He was at Palace, Norwich were in for him, so were West Brom, and he got the 3 chairmen together and said, look, let's agree a price. We'll all put the same offer in, and then we're not going to get caught up in a bidding war. Well, Norwich didn't do that. They went above the price and they got him.
It's like offers over. It's like buying a house.
It's like Facebook Marketplace. Or near offer.
So, it's going to be... I wonder about some of the other teams playing in the Club World Cup overseas who could still be doing a little bit of business before 7 tonight.
Well, basically, the main reason this window came in was so that Infantino could find one way or another to get Messi and Ronaldo in the World Cup. Now, obviously, Messi is there because they let into Miami in via the back door. There were suggestions last week that maybe Ronaldo could sign a short-term deal with somebody who's playing at the Club World Cup. Infantino spoke to a YouTuber and suggested that might be the case, but as we tick nearer 7 o'clock, that isn't going to happen. Obviously, Trent has gone to Real Madrid, so he's going to play in that competition. And it'll be interesting to see if some of the other players that have been linked with the Premier League do go and play for their club sides in the tournament. I'm still not overly excited about the Club World Cup.
Well, the club's at 120 million quid if you win it. It's amazing, isn't it?
That makes it worthwhile.
Absolutely. Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
And we'll speak to you soon when the window opens next Monday, if not before.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.